Let's see when this goes. All right, there we go. All right, Kiff, start off with us.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, exactly, dude. So you tell me, man. I got a 3 weeks of crazy shit. But how's New York?
Yeah, it's good. You know, it's like slowly reopening. So, in terms of
Right now,
comedy,
you guys, what's open right now?
outdoor seating, so outdoor restaurants.
Which say that it sounds like a lot, but it's literally like 2 tables per fucking.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying?
They're doing it pretty well though. They probably shouldn't have as many tables open as they do. That's like the type of New York shit that you'll say. Like you'll go down a side street and they'll go into like parallel parking zone and fence it out and then put a couple tables there. And you're like, that's not even your property.
Right.
But they're like, hey, you want to, table for 2? So it's a lot of that shit. But it's nice. Molly and I went away to the Catskill Mountains over the weekend. We got table service, which is unheard of for the last however many months.
What do you? You sat down at a restaurant?
Oh yeah, outdoor seating, person with the mask waiting on you. It is disgusting.
Is it bizarre?
It is bizarre. Dude. It's weird because you're not used to interacting with people anymore, especially people like it's like Seamless came to life and is taking your order because all you've done is like order Grubhub for the last 3 weeks.
Right. Hey, where do I go?
I'm right here, Flicker.
Where you at? Oh, you're getting hookers again? You're gonna show us hookers?
Nice.
Bro?
Oh,
hey,
they're out there, bro.
See if the inflation is kicked in, or if we have some sort of depression prices going on.
Oh, that's funny. I should have went by there, man. We had to come to HEB, man, because they're doing that mask thing, and we're gonna like really try and lock ourselves in, bro. It's getting bad in Houston right now.
Oh shit, really?
Dude, so yeah. let me tell you my my 3 weeks, right? So the first week I was gonna go back to work. I went to South Florida. That's when they kind of had started on their spike, but it was also in the middle of riots and looting, fires and protests and stuff. So my Thursday show I was performing in West Palm Beach. Excuse me. Anyway, so Thursday show was supposed to be at 8:30, changed to 8, then changed to 7:30, then changed to 6:30 because it kept going down based on the fact that they were actually imposing a curfew. So it was kind of tough. I couldn't really promote the shows, you know what I mean? And it was only half capacity and whatever. It was just to get out to see how it worked, but it just kind of felt weird. And Thursday show, I get there at about 5-ish, and there's cars, there's cops everywhere, there's the bomb squad, dogs searching for bombs. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here, man? So I guess somebody called in a bomb threat that I guess felt legitimate. And, of course, I've had some people, I posted something about it, and I've had some people like, whatever, dude, if they really wanted to kill you, it's like, dude, that's not even the point. That's not even the fucking point. Just the fact that somebody wanted to scare me off stage in the first place, in my opinion, all this crazy shit has just gone too fucking far, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever. Putting that aside, I did an hour and 25 minutes. All COVID, fucking hysterical, but I got off stage, and I don't know, man. You ever have a set where it kills, it's funny, everybody laughed, but you just like, nah, there was something.
Yes.
Something.
Yes.
It was like that, dude. And I'm just talking on my.
Not really, but.
Huh?
He said, not really.
Not really.
No, you've never won. No, for real. Like, you've never had a set. Yeah, you have one. One's different.
No.
What it is, one? I'll explain it to you like this one. Juan, you know when you do those sets that are a little too ghetto, and at the end you go, fuck, I should have challenged the audience more. I just did a bunch of ghetto stuff and shit that they're gonna laugh at. I could have done something better. I could have taught them something. I could have pushed them as an audience. That's how I felt. But it wasn't that. It was just that I couldn't put my finger on it. I just couldn't put my finger on it. And by the next day, what I realized was that even though the stuff that I did was funny, it wasn't like hard, because it was just stories about shit that happened during quarantine.
Right.
And none of them felt, like, oh my God.
We're hard on ourselves, man.
That story. Yeah. Like that's the most amazing story ever.
Right. So it wasn't like evergreen material. It was more like kind of camping up top.
No. It could have been evergreen material. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that, okay, so I wrote this stuff from the beginning of my lockdown.
Right.
And what happened after Floyd pretty much fucking erased everything before that.
Right.
So what happened was, when I stepped on stage, all the material about like dealing with my kids, dealing with my wife, that kind of shit. It was funny, dude. It got a laugh, but there was no relevance to it. There was nothing real to it. It was almost like, yeah, I fucking hate my wife too. So anything else? You know what I mean?
So riots or protests?
It just, yeah. And so the next day, I tried to write a bunch of stuff about the protests and the riots. Here's the problem, and Juan will tell you, we've been doing these jokes forever. Like, so much of the stuff that I did in my 1993 HBO special,
I know,
about the riots and the looting, so many of those jokes still fucking apply today, dude.
Well, that's like you and I. So you and
after Rodney King, bro. That's what it was. It was after the Rodney King. That's what I started in '92, right after the Rodney King thing.
Right.
So I know exactly what you're going through there. Like,
and you and I had talked after that show, and we were laughing because, well, not laughing, but we were like, man, it's crazy that like you could just take out the name George Floyd and put in Rodney King, and all of the material is almost exactly the same, which is like the weirdest state of the country.
Pretty much. So then I realized, okay, now, like, I got to put in stuff that's about that, but I can't ignore the fact that we're on lockdown. So what, you know what I mean? What is it going to be? And so, so I did Thursday show in West Palm Beach. Friday and Saturday show literally went from 8 and 10:30 to 6 and 8 to 3 and 6 to 6 and 8. And then at the end, we had to cancel it. We had to cancel one of the shows because they put a curfew at 9 o'clock and a show at 8:30. Right. Which we just couldn't do. And so all of that fluctuating just kind of fucked with it, and I wasn't able to do it. So that was the first week. Then the next week.
Hold on. Before you go into the next week, let me tell you, because I also had my first show back.
Right.
And it is, dude, it looked like, I have no shame in saying this. I've done a couple Zoom shows. I've done online things where it's like, you're kind of in your comfort zone. Even new jokes, I have like notes on the side where if I don't remember the set. Dude, my first set back in front of an audience, a live audience outdoor, it looked like I got into a car accident and I didn't remember how to walk. It was like completely learning motor skills. I couldn't think about anything. Look, crowd work is my wheelhouse. I've been doing the podcast the whole time. So the quickness was there. There was twice when I brought up premises to jokes I haven't done that are new this year, but I haven't done since the pandemic. When I tell you guys, I brought up the premise and I had no idea what the fucking punchline was. Twice. I was like, the weird thing about being young and bald is, anyway, so where are you guys from? Dude, it was like I was trying to crawl And then luckily I remembered my closer that I've been doing this year, that the passengers joke. Luckily I've done that enough before the quarantine. So I remembered that, but dude, it was twice I went into the bag. And then my buddy Gino Bisconti that you know was on the show too. And Gino's been doing it 20 years now. And so he's been mixing premises and different punchlines. So he would start a joke that he thought would end in a different place. And then he would turn to me and go, "It's not there, Kev. It's not there. I don't know what I'm doing." And then he hit a joke that I heard him do when I met him 10 years ago. And when he hit that premise, I laughed so fucking hard. And he turned around and he goes, "That's how bad it is right now." He goes, I'm doing 10-year-old jokes.
Oh, that's funny. I'm doing my first show on stage in front of a crowd tomorrow.
Dude, you're gonna be fine, bro. You've been doing your act this whole fucking time. It's not. It's not one. I mean, you've been doing your shit for the whole time. I think that my shows were a little slower, but other than that,
slower. What do you mean? Like your pace, your timing?
No, they were slower because they weren't. You know, like normally I have an agenda.
Right.
Right. And my agenda is ahead of the curve. So it's very rare for me to be in this position where almost everybody and me are in the same place, because I'm usually, you know, like here's an example. Once it became a racial thing and we had to deal with, you know, Floyd and policing, and at that point, it was hard for me, not because of the writing, but because, okay, how much of the shit that I've been saying for fucking decades do I want to put in this?
Right.
Who the fuck is making all that noise?
Jesus.
Are you in the bathroom, bro?
The fuck, bro? By the way, those that just joined, with Kevin Dombrowski from New York, Juan Vieira from Houston, and yeah, there he is, Humpty Dumpty over here from Miami. And so now Cisco almost didn't do any stuff about COVID or
the first week, yeah. The first week, yeah.
But by the time I came around to the second week for us, which was San Antonio, that one was really fun. And I was gonna put it out, but you know what happened, man? I said the N-word a couple of times, and you know me, it's appropriate to the joke. You know, it's like it's stuff the way we talk. But you know what's funny, man? It felt to me like, you know what? Young people right now are just in a different place when it comes to all this racial and ethnic shit.
Yeah.
And stuff that was okay a month ago is not okay today, or at least it doesn't feel right. And wait, here's why I think I was right. So 2 weeks ago, I recorded those performances, and I'm watching them. They're killer. They're funny. They're great. I love them. But I just felt like there were a couple times where somebody would have been like, "Why do you use the N-word there?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think some of the younger people right now are going to be like, there's no need for that anymore. You don't need to shock us anymore. We get it." And I think I'm right because of the statues that they're bringing down. And I don't mean the statues of like Confederate Army stuff. That one I get. When they try to bring down fucking Washington and shit, that's when you know they're getting uber fucking. That's
right.
You know what I mean?
Take down Jesus.
Well, but you know what I'm saying? Like when that happened, I went, okay, these kids are in a different fucking place. They're just in it, and that kind of needs to settle in. So then last week, we did I did a show in Phoenix, and those shows were like great. They were great balance. They were great fun. I started off, you know what I mean, by talking about COVID, but saying I'm going to go back to the racial stuff in a minute. And then those performances, I'm editing them right now. They felt right. And by this weekend, like Sunday's show was just, Yes, I mean, it was, there's small crowds because it's only half the people, but man, that was just a killer show. What did you think about it, Cisco?
There were good shows. The crowd was into it. I felt like the only one that was a little shaky was Saturday Late Show. For some reason, it was just I don't know if the first two comics didn't warm them up or whatever enough, but I had to battle to get them to where they needed to be, And then by the time I got off, they were fine. But yeah, I mean, Phoenix was awesome.
That's it. That's all it felt.
Phoenix was awesome. I mean, my jokes worked, the new shit worked, so I can't complain.
How much new stuff did you write?
When I looked at the tape, it was about 7 minutes. 7 minutes of, but it was all COVID and Black Lives Matter jokes. But one joke is like an old joke that I tied into all the new stuff. So I would say about like seven. Like if I said 7 minutes, it'd go down to about 6 minutes.
Yeah,
6 minutes. I would say 6 minutes.
Yeah, by the end of all this, I probably have about an hour and 45 minutes of new stuff of the stuff that I'm going to put on at 1 hour of it. It's like
way more than me.
But it's got like really good, it's got really good stuff about all of, the hard part is, like I said, none of this feels ballsy to me because, you know what I mean? I've like already talked about this in the past or joked about it in the past or dealt with some of this stuff in the past. And
yeah, but you know what, going back to what you and I had talked about, that's why you have to, it's more about the comparison than the material. You know what I mean? Bridging the past to the current and how it's still relevant. That's got to be the underlying premise.
Yeah. No. Listen, by the third week, I found I found a good balance. A little bit up top, really funny, couple stories about being at home, and then just literally getting into it. And a joke that I wrote about 4 years ago that I stopped doing fit perfectly right now about how America needs a female president. And it's so fucking real. It's so good. But here's, like, this time it got even more real because I actually asked women in the audience, how many women in here don't think that a woman is equipped or should ever be allowed to run the country? And every single show, there were a handful of women that fucking said it. It was
well. That's let me tell you. So in between shows,
but that's crazy to me, dude.
But listen, dude, listen. That's how it is.
Crazy.
That's how it is. When so I put up online that Molly and I are having a kid. That's what we couldn't talk about last time. But what I'm talking about with her is like, dude. Okay, so first off, I'm having a daughter. Very excited about that. I'm even more excited.
Wait, we're letting everybody know now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Look,
and bro, she's
you let him out.
I know, dude. And she's gonna look just like you, bro. Like when she's born. Bald and white and all.
Hell yeah!
Out. She's gonna look just like you.
She's gonna come out with a Black Lives Matter onesie on already.
Doing crowd work.
What if that baby comes? What if that baby comes
your
out black?
daughter's not gonna come out. She's gonna come out fist first like this.
Like Wonder Woman. She's gonna come out of my wife like Wonder Woman.
Look, that's all you're gonna see, bro. Just a little fist coming, little fist, and then.
What did you have? Oh, it's a little activist. But this is what I'm saying. So what I had said was like, I'm happy I'm having a girl because you guys know my wife, Juan. You haven't met her yet, but she's badass as shit. Takes no shit. She is the perfect feminist, whereas she roots for the female species, but hates that bitch. That's who my wife is. So it's like, that's how women are, man. When it's like, you can't blanket it when you vote for another woman because it's got to be a certain woman. You know what I mean? That's the
Well,
like
listen.
women only votes for other certain women, not blanket.
Right. Well, I talked about a lot of that stuff. I think a lot of that, believe it or not, I think a lot of that is also leftover from, being told from the dawn of time that you're not as good as a man.
Right.
I gotta believe that some of that is still there. Like I've had some really interesting conversations with people, especially the people that don't believe Black Lives Matter. They think it's bullshit. They think Black people should put on their bootstraps and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, dude, you don't understand, bro. You just don't get it. First of all, I could take you to certain places in Mississippi and in Louisiana where you go to these small towns, bro, and the old Black men still are subservient to the old white dudes.
Right.
And to watch it is thing, like pay attention to the little shit. This is something interesting. And hundreds of times, not thousands, but hundreds of times, I've been called boss by somebody at a drive-through. What do you want, boss? At a store. What you looking for, boss? The word boss has only ever been said to me by a Black guy.
Interesting.
I have never ever heard some Latino say, "Hey, boss," or a white guy be like, "Hey, boss."
Hey, that's not true. I say, do you want me to fold your
I'm
t-shirts,
saying me,
boss?
fucker. I'm saying
no,
me,
I know,
bitch.
no, I know that. But there's some times where I'll go, "Do you want me to fold the t-shirts now, boss? Or do you want me to do it while you're on stage?"
I'm your boss, Dick. That's different. That's different.
Yeah.
That's different when you're
Ned,
actually talking to your fucking boss, bro. That's not the same.
Hey, but Ned, I live, in the neighborhood where my dad lived. It was, there was few Mexicans. It was predominantly Black people and a lot of older men. How you doing, boss? Hey, boss. Just that's the word they use. It's common in Houston, and in the county. When you go to the county, all the deputies, "Hey, boss, man. Hey, boss." Hey,
right. But what I'm saying is, where does that come from? That still comes from slavery. That's leftover slavery shit. That's leftover the boss shit. And so what I'm saying is, it takes a really long fucking time as a human being. Some of us never get over our inadequacies, and it's going to take a long time for the average Black kid to not feel like to let go of all that little shit and truly feel equal. And so it's but there's a lot of, it's so fucking complicated. Personally, you know what, like I said to somebody, if they were to say, "We're going to give your job to a Black guy because we owe it to Black people," I'd be like, okay, I don't know Black people anything that I know of, but my country does. And if I'm the one that's got to pay, you know what I mean? Then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, Black people were slaves in this country for 300 something years. They barely in 1966 probably was the last law where you could feel. Did you know that in actual Minneapolis, where all this started with George, there's still a law that was never taken off the books. It's unenforceable, but the law says that you cannot rent or sell to anybody who's Black.
Wow.
But that's normal. Why do you think all Black people live in the same place, bro? There's a reason for that. We put them there. This is what I'm saying. There's so much complexity to all of this shit that it just gets to a point where it's like, look, man, what have we done? And by the way, let me ask you guys this, because I was thinking about this in my sleep. What has America done to make it up to Black people that we enslaved them for that long as a country? What have we done to make it up to them? Now, here's the thing. You can't say we freed them. You can't say, well, we gave them right to vote. Because that's just bringing them up to par, right? That's just bringing them up to par. What have we ever done to take them from way back here and put them ahead of themselves so that they literally can catch up to everybody else? Does anybody have an answer?
I don't think I should go first.
I think you should. You know what, Kevin?
Yeah.
You as a white man right now, who have defaced statues, who have painted graffiti, who have taken rubber bullets, who have been fucking sprayed in the face and poured milk on your eyes and went back out there and fought. you that lit fires, you that defaced property, dude. You get to go first, Cracker. This is your fucking world, brother. This
We're
is
waiting.
your fucking world.
I don't look. First off, I think that I don't know, man. I think in speaking about like all the crazy shit that you're talking about, I saw something online the other day where it was two super liberal white dudes had whipped each other in the back, and a group of black protesters came up to them and they were like, "This isn't what we want." You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to.
No, but it's cool. No. Wait. For anybody to believe that after all these years, right, of what's going on, and then this new generation sees it from a different perspective, you have to know that they're going to go too far with this shit. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Those people, if you want to think about it in terms of what have we done to elevate the race to what everyone else is, if you're thinking about that,
we've done. But that's
but listen. Yes. I understand what you're saying, but what those two white dudes are doing are bringing themselves down to a level that previously black people were down at because of white people. So how is that the answer? So a lot of this, this is what we're going to do to make up for it. Shit isn't fully well thought out. And it's, look, if you want to say good intentions, if you can find it within there, okay, cool. You're protesting, you're signing petitions, you're donating, you're marching together. That's all shit that counts. But a lot of the stuff that's been done is, it's really done in vain, because it's like, okay, who gives a fuck about a zone in Seattle kicking police out? What is that actually doing to help the cause? Do you know what I mean? It's not proactive type shit. So in terms of having an answer, I don't know what the fucking answer is, but in terms of having a conversation and moving forward, that seems to be a more logical thing. Let's get on the same page. You know what I mean? Let's sit at the table together and figure out.
But what I guess
look,
what I'm saying is, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Kevin, I know a lot of successful black people. I started in BT, so I know a lot of, lawyers, everything. They're rich, they're black, they're good. They're not. I don't know how to answer. Man, I lost my train of thought. Because you said something. No, you said something, fucker. I just saw a guy with a gun walking into Walgreens, and my wife in Walgreens. So that kind of, I'm like, is he a cop? Is he gonna rob this? So I'm just saying, they're not man, I lost my train of thought. I don't know how to say it.
All right, hey.
I don't know how to say it right.
Right, hey, to all the people listening. Hey, to all the people listening and putting on the comments, don't get specific about stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You're the fucking Republicans and Democrats. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. I really fucking don't. All right. I came here in 1967. No, 1968. That was the first year I came here. I had fucking nothing to do with slavery, and this was after the Civil Rights Movement. But when I say we enslaved,
we were slaves too, man.
What I mean is, this is like, stop having these fucking conversations, people, about the left and the right, and who gives a shit about any of that? That has nothing to do with what the fuck is that noise?
Cisco eating?
What are you talking about? What noise?
Like a.
You got ketchup right there.
No, seriously. Are you touching? Is somebody touching something or something? Am I the only one that heard it?
No, Cisco was grabbing that bag. Fucker, just tell him, dude.
You're
the ballers.
Show me the fucking bag of potato chips.
No, it was nuggets.
Ah, there it is, bitch. That's what it was. Jesus, bro. Okay.
Wendy's. Wendy. We're protesting Wendy's right now, bro.
Who's protesting Wendy's?
Fucking nugget, bro.
Atlanta was protesting Wendy's.
Oh, because Wendy's.
Two dumbasses. Look, these are two dumbasses.
Wendy's.
They're gonna go in there. They have to wear a mask. have to wear a mask, and they're not. They're not. Oh, cool. They're kicking you out. They're kicking you out of all these places in Houston. If you don't come in with a mask, you're done. Nope. They got big old dudes now standing at the door. That just started like this week, like Monday. So, but man, Ned, this weekend these concerts were open. You know, they did a drive-in, a concert at a drive-in. They did cars drive up and Baby Bash and stuff like that, and they built a stage in front of the screen at a drive-in theater.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it. Remember? We actually talked about it.
I was like, wow, that's cool. But dude, it was cool. But when Baby Bash was on stage and they went live, you see all the people leaving the car, all these girls, and now there's a group of 400 or 500 people right smushed up against the stage. It's like, man, that takes away the whole thing, man. Like these kids are getting it now. They think they're not. You know, my son's out there, dude. He's 33. He don't give a shit. He's like, I'm gonna go out there, pals. And he goes. He's been bombshell these little places, man, and they're just packed with people and no mask. So he's like, I don't give a shit, man. I'm like, well, I do. So I'm gonna you have to quarantine, get the fuck out of here for about 3 weeks.
You know, in Florida, they're making everybody.
I don't want to say right now, but whatever. But there's people in my family that got it. They just in the last couple of days they tested positive. So, like, yeah. It's for real.
Yeah, listen, I'm telling you that the people that came out to the shows, like, if I had a show this next weekend, I probably would have canceled it, no matter where it was.
I'm doing one tomorrow, and that's my first time there, and they wanted me to invite 15, 16 people. I'm like, I can't. Like, they don't want to go, and they got to have their mask on the whole time. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to Zoom it. We're doing some pay-per-view things, whatever, but I don't feel comfortable yet, bro.
Dude, listen, here's what's going to happen in the near future. The most capacity that they're probably going to allow is 30, at the most 50%. Anything above that, I'm saying 30, 35%, bro. Then you can keep people away from each other. But dude, I mean, Cisco will tell you, some of those clubs, bro, they were not social distancing, that's for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, they took out a lot of seats, bro. A lot of seats.
Yeah.
Just it felt like a Wednesday night show at a regular club, bro. You know what I mean?
You know what would have helped that sentence if you had just taken out your wallet and emptied it. They took out a lot of seats.
No, it's rough. And you know what? Here's another problem. The people that are going out to the shows will laugh at anything. They don't give a fuck, guys. You could do racial stuff, ethnic stuff, but here's the problem. If you do something and then post it online, that's not going to be the same sentiment as about 90% of the people that are going to want to watch that on your YouTube channel or on whatever, Facebook or whatever.
Totally.
And so you're performing live for everyone, but the people there are kind of like, nah, do fucking jokes about people dying. We don't give a fuck. Dude, it's so weird, bro.
That speaks to the comedy club experience. That's why we do what we do, is because in those rooms you can say that shit and you can suspend reality and connect with that crowd, and everyone wants that, dude. That's why, like, look, there's a difference between doing this type of material and getting away with it at a club and having a good time and then posting it on Twitter, and it's a static joke that, you know, might come back to bite you, or that you're just giving people, you know what it is, dude? When you post it online, you're giving people time to form not necessarily opinions, but critiques of it. When you're at a club, they're laughing. It's right in that moment. So you're just enjoying it. You're not thinking about it. You're just enjoying what's happening.
Yeah, but the problem is that when everything is so see, these moments are really hard because everything is volatile and the nerves are raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you start, you know what it's like? It's like when you hang out with a bunch of brothers who start dropping the N-word on you, and they're like, come on, nigga, you know you with us, nigga. And then all of a sudden, you start hanging out with black people that aren't like that, and then you start talking that way, and they're like, hey, what the fuck, bro? You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
I understand what you mean.
Right. Because
I said it. I got my friends, we're comics, and we've said it. I've said it loosely, and I've said it in front of people where they just looked at me, and one guy even said, hey, man, has anybody ever just gone off on you? And I'm like, for what? I didn't even know what they were talking about. I'm like,
right.
For what? He's like, no, bro. Like, I'm serious. I'm like, for my material, for my comedy? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I looked at my dude. I'm like, man, I don't know what this nigga's saying, bro. I don't know if he's... Yeah. So, man, like, I said it right now because that's what happened, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say them on stage, whatever. I don't need it. It's, you know what, Kevin? You said something that kind of fucked my head up a little bit. You said we can go to a club and do some material and get away with it? Like,
yeah.
What do you mean, bro?
What I mean is...
Like, I never understood that because I've heard comics say that, and I've never...
So what I mean by that...
You can say whatever you want, you know what I mean?
Right, but here's what I mean is it's exactly what I said. At a club, you're not giving someone time to think about their opinion or some critique of that. They're not sitting in it. They're interacting with it. They're laughing at it. So not necessarily you're getting away with it like you're doing something wrong, but you have an easier time in doing it because if you were to post just a static joke where people have time to think about it and sit and stew and be like, you know what, I don't like that. It's easier to do that type of material in a club environment when you're connected with the crowd. They know it's comedy.
Yeah.
In these four walls, reality suspended. It's not what it is on the street. And that's like, dude, I don't know if you've ever gone from doing a club show and certain material. I forgot this. I turned into a strictly only club comic. And then someone asked me to do a bar show in New York. And I did the same type of material. And they must have thought that they looked at me like I was abusing the fuck out of my wife. And I was like, what is this jokes? And they were like, no, dude, you're just being mean to her. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like the difference between the comedy club and some bar where real people don't know they're getting comedy, it's crazy. You know what I mean?
Well,
that just goes to what you can do in comedy clubs.
Yeah. Well, see, so my whole thing was like, stay focused and don't for me, it's about get ahead of the joke. Like, I know this shit is edgy, right? I know some of this is gonna be like, I mean, there's a point in one of the jokes, where I say women gotta stop being cunts to each other. What I have to do is tell myself, like, just remember that there are people that need to take this information in a different way. And what's more important, for me to say shit however I want to, regardless of who likes it or not? No, that's not my job. My job is to make as many people laugh as humanly possible without eroding what is my point of view for that very specific moment or whatever that joke is. But that's what it felt like to me. Cisco, how did you feel about the audiences, like, for the 3 weeks?
Well, I felt like the first week when I was so COVID jokes were great, but when I started doing Black Lives Matter jokes, they were good up until shit got like even crazier. So when we were in Phoenix, like, people were hesitant to laugh about the jokes. Now, granted, it's not as edgy as like other comics, but I personally found it where, yeah, it's kind of a fucked up joke, but also it just brings light and attention to the situation. So I just felt like Phoenix was just a little more sensitive than any other city, or it could just be that it was at a time where shit just got even crazier with the whole protest, because Arizona was one of those cities that, people were protesting religiously every day. But I mean, that's my opinion. I just, me personally, I'm going to do whatever I feel like doing, and either they like it or they don't.
Well, man,
yeah, but no. But
people are really sensitive right now.
But they should be, because we're in that place, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? We're in that little place right now. Like, we're in the tiny place of it's not it's not even like racism as much as it's leftover shit that you don't realize. You know, it's like I did a joke where I went, look, now is the time for us to realize the little things that we do. The fact that if your name is Tamika or Jamel and you fill out an application and they don't see your face, but they just see that ethnically Black name, you were 63 to 75% less. There's an opportunity less that you're going to get a phone call back just because your name sounds ethnically Black. Now, if your name sounds African, right? If your name is Umtiti, you probably will get the call back. But if it's Darnell, Tyrell, Janelle, it's different. And so it's that. It's, you know what it's like? It's like, I said this on stage. It's like we all have a Black friend that when we describe him for the first time to somebody, we go, yeah, he's blah, 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 he's Black. And then they go, he's Black. And you go, yeah, but he's not Black like that. You know, he's Black, but not Black like that. That's the kind of shit that we're dealing with right now. That we're trying to say that there's, you know, it's the difference between just seeing somebody and not having to categorize them and just be like, yeah, he's that, or as opposed to what we do now, which is categorize it a little bit. He's not hood, he's not ghetto, he doesn't ask questions, you know what I mean, or whatever that bullshit is. It's the little tiny stuff, bro. That
do you think though? Let me ask you, and I'm genuine. Do you think that's like I guess, I don't know, without sounding offensive, like a minority to minority thing? Because I don't know. I don't have any white friends that would be like, he's bad. Because that's like, everyone would be like, what the fuck, bro?
Well, you wouldn't say it like that. But there would be, you know what I mean? You would,
like,
you would
I get what you're saying. But to me, like, if one of my white friends said that, I'd be like, dude, you're fucking racist. It sounds so much more.
I would hope so, but the majority, I've heard conversations like that a billion times. Shit, I got a friend named Randy, and I mean, Cisco will tell you. Well, not Cisco, but Juan will tell you. But then look what Cisco does. Cisco goes on stage and says, "I'm Black, but I'm Latino." It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that little thing. He's not being racist straight out. He's not saying fuck that.
Yeah,
but
he's
it definitely saying.
Right. So like when Cisco,
but I agree that it doesn't sound racist.
Right.
First of all, I'm Black. I bought Jordans. Okay, so I'm Black.
What
were you saying?
Just racism himself, dude.
I waited online. I bought these Jordans. I'm Black, bro. Nah, but listen, but me personally, like I've changed the whole I'm not Black. Like I accept that I'm Black. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not.
Really, you do. That's a step
because
forward.
You know what, man? I realized like Dominicans are racist as fuck, man. Dominicans are so fucking racist, and I didn't even when Sammy Sosa turned white, I was like, I guess I understand that. And then now I'm like, oh shit, it's fucked up that he turned into a white woman. So, you know, I just realized how racist my country is.
But that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with that little shit that you don't really see. It's the little stuff. I get what you're saying now. I see what you're saying. The point that I was, it kind of missed me in terms of like having that conversation. You were being literal in what I said. I get
right.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is everybody has their little way of qualifying it. You know, he's not hood. He's not, you know what I mean? Whatever that is, like whatever that thing is, you know what I mean? Right. And now is the time where and listen, I tell a story. It's a real story. It works in the opposite direction. So long story short, all right, I'm just going to get to the punchline because that's the story. But me and a bunch of buddies of ours and Randy Shropshire, that's his name. So to qualify, Randy's just the average guy, period. I mean, not even that. He's like, if Randy was white, you would be like, fuck, you're such a Boy Scout. You know what I mean? Like that's, he's literally a Boy Scout. He's literally an archer. He's literally a sharpshooter. He literally teaches people how to sail boats. I mean, This is who he is. But one time we were performing, we were doing shows in Birmingham, Alabama, went to a club afterwards. He was the only Black guy at the club. A girl sat next to him, started hitting on him. Then when whoever she was with saw that she was with the black guy, kind of called her on it. So then she did that fucking thing. She did it to him, bro. She's like, I wasn't doing anything. He fucking started hitting on me. He grabbed me and he pulled me in. Luckily, dude, I've done shows for some of the policemen in that area. And so they called the cops. And when the cops showed up, I was like, hey, guys, listen, man, let me tell you what the fuck happened. He was sitting here. That girl came over. Then those 3 guys started talking to her. And then she pulled that shit like, hey, he was the one. But I swear to God, and if there's any cameras here, go look at him. He didn't do shit. He just sat there the whole fucking time. And the officer was like, oh, cool, man. I'm glad that you were here, Carlos. Like, hope your shows are good. I'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, under my breath, I go, no, don't leave. He's my friend. Fuck with him a little bit. And so the cop pulled out his cuffs and grabbed one of Randy's hands. And the minute he grabbed Randy's hand and he said, what were you doing to that white girl? I swear to fucking God, Randy goes, I'm not that kind of black guy. I play tennis. I swear to fucking God, dude.
No, it was water polo.
No. He said I play tennis. He actually used to play the whitest sport ever.
I thought it was
What's the
polo.
whitest sport ever?
Curling.
No. Like it's a sports sport. Like it's a
Polo?
real sport. Not badminton. What's the one with the little, you guys run around and you
Rugby?
little.
Oh, no.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Badminton?
No. It's God damn it, what is the name of it? It's you have a little there's a little ball and you
Croquet? Is it croquet?
No. It's shit, man. What is the name of this thing?
All I'm learning in this conversation is I'm not that white.
Yeah, you're probably not.
He said the whitest sport, and I couldn't stop crying laughing.
It wasn't water polo. It's not badminton. God damn it.
I thought it was water polo.
It's really big in college, especially East.
Lacrosse.
Northeast. Lacrosse. That shit, dude.
I summoned my white ancestors to get that answer.
The lions of your ancestors. Oh God, we couldn't see them. Young Kevin, it is lacrosse. Yeah.
My family crest started glowing over my fireplace.
Dude, I kept fucking with him for a week, dude.
Dude, and my whole thing to him was like, why didn't you just say lacrosse? That's whiter than tennis. And he goes, dude, I got flustered, bro. I ain't never been handcuffed. I don't know what the fuck that's like. And then he goes, I'm not black like that. And I go, dick. So
Right.
It's even his perspective as a black man from Baltimore. Dude, he grew up on
that went to the same high school as Tupac.
Went to the same high school as Tupac and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yep.
And he grew up on the same street where the show The Wire took place.
Damn.
So it's not like, you know what I mean? He wasn't connected to that. He was just like, he didn't grow up like that. And his immediate reaction, dude, to that authority was, hey, don't treat me like that. I'm not like that. I'm like this. And so my point is that shit permeates all of us. And so now I think it's time for us to kind of see, do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. See how it is. It's like, dude, of all my nephews, right? The black ones are the ones that get fucked with the most in my family.
Right.
Not anymore. It's been 30 years, but oh man, in the beginning, it was rough, dude. It was rough. And it was hard for me because I've never been that guy. I mean, I'm not going to say the name of my friend, but I grew up one time with a friend who was his uncle was shot by a black guy, and so he hates black people. He's a cop. But when he was 16, dude, we were in a car going to McDonald's, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck these niggers. And I go, dude, if you say that again, I'm going to kick you out of my car. And he goes, you're going to kick me out of the car because of fucking niggers? And I was like, I pulled over and said, get the fuck out of my car, dude. Walk home. I don't give a shit. Like, I've always been that guy. Ask Albert. One time we were.
I know, man. I know. I've seen some stuff. I'm the same way. Like, because I hang out with black people, and then white people think that they can say some stuff, and they'll kind of whisper. When they start whispering shit, like, let me, like, hey, I know what you're about to say, bro, but don't. I get exactly, dude. I hung out with black people so much for a minute. I thought I was black. I was getting offended at shit that I had nothing to do with me. Like I saw this white guy goes, yeah, he's black, but he's not black. He's like Carlton black. And I was like, what? Because like Carlton, like from the phrase, I'm like, hold up, bro. Like, what the fuck you saying? Like, that sounded so racist to me. My black friend had to pull me away from that dude. Like, Juan, chill, dude. Like, I'm like, did you hear what he said? He just, like, that was bad. But I've seen you say some shit like that. I've seen you. We get away from people.
Right. So I think that right now is the time for this. And look, I just got to say this, man, to all the younger generations, millennials, the Gen Xers, all the people that we as comedians have been making fun of for a bit now. Who would have fucking thought, bro, that they had the fucking balls to protest and go out there and, dude, don't get me wrong, bro. We were talking about 1992, right? I remember the riots in 92.
They're out there. I don't want to interrupt you. I know this is a subject, but look, we're talking about
Let me see.
Oh my God, you can see her ass.
Where?
See through.
You're going too fast.
U-turn. Make a U-turn. Make a U-turn.
There's another one right there. What's up, baby?
U-turn. Turn back around.
Cisco sounds like a hooker GPS right now.
Turn around.
Make a U-turn. Make a U-turn.
Last night I was watching Fox News, and Sean Hannity was on, and I was like, let me watch this a little bit. And he had a reporter where they're holding up that Wendy's, where there's like no cop zone, 6 blocks, they got a barricade, and he's talking to these 2 little young black guys, dude, and they look thuggish. They look thug, and it's weird because Sean Hannity is in the fucking studio and say, no, ask them this. Why are they doing that? Ask them, and the reporter is trying to ask them like Sean wants them to ask. And he goes, no, he was shot by a taser. That officer did not know that was a taser. He thought that was a gun, and that is a lethal weapon. And the black kid that covered up with a shotgun was like, no, it's not. It's a non-lethal weapon. And then Sean Hannity goes, no, in the state of Georgia, a taser is a lethal weapon. The young kid next to him, the war dog said, well, then we're getting shot up all day with lethal weapons. Like, it's like you can only make one law of this. Is the taser lethal or non-lethal? You can't use it. When we used it, it's lethal, but when y'all use it against us, because that one dude said, I've been tased a whole lot, so they use lethal weapons on me. Sean didn't know what to say. The reporter was like, oh, okay. He switched the question up, and it went black. Like, they were trying to put these kids in the spot and make them look like they were dumb, ignorant, little hood, ghetto-ass kids. These fuckers had the dialogue, had the content, the right words. I mean, I was like, whoa.
Here's what I said.
Kids. They're smart, man. These young kids are smart.
They grew up different. One, they grew up with friends of color. It didn't bother them that much. Most of these kids, there's a reason that most of these protests are in big cities that are very mixed. They got a lot of mix of people because they grew up around those mixture of people. This isn't middle America in the small town, towns with 1,000 people or 2,000 people where these guys, don't get to meet all these other races, colors, and creeds. I mean, it's a different time, and what they're seeing is, holy shit! I didn't realize, that this is the way it was, and that's good or bad. My theory is that the average white person in America isn't racist, and all these years that we've been telling them this is how cops treat us, we get pulled over all the time for no fucking reason. They fuck with us. I think that they just didn't believe that was possible because there was always like, all right, I know he shot him in the back, but why was he running? I know he shot him 30 feet away, but he had a knife. Like there was always something. There was always heated moment. And Kevin, let me ask you this because, you're the white guy in the crew. And here's the way I see it. I think that because I went on stage and said, look, this is weird for me to talk about this stuff.
Right.
Because as comedians, we've been talking about getting pulled over by the cops forever. I could quote a bunch of comedians do. They pull me over. I'm 10-2. Shit, I've done at least 10 jokes about getting pulled over by a cop because every time it's different. I remember one time, way when I was young, Toyota Corolla hatchback, and I didn't lower my window, and I was literally at 10-2 when the cop pulled me in, and he goes, lower your window. I go, nah, man, break it or open it yourself. I don't want to fucking move, dude. I don't want you to think that I'm reaching for shit. I don't want you to think that I'm doing anything. So just like break the window. And the guy just laughed and he goes, dude, it's okay. And he took his hand off of his gun. You know what I mean? So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a joke about that. But here's what I think. And then by the way, to go back, and I said, did Richard Pryor 50 years ago did that joke about I am reaching for my wallet, right?
Right.
Yep.
So here's my theory. My theory is that the guy was selling cigarettes and he was wrong, or this guy was wrong, or that guy was wrong, and they didn't choke him out that long or shot him. I think this was the first time when there was no emotion, where you guys got to see that cops just don't see us sometimes as human beings, that we're just something to fucking treat like shit. Like it wasn't even a mad. I think had he been like, fuck you, stop, it would have been different. The fact that he was just chill on his fucking neck for that long is what really hit you guys that hard. But I could be wrong. What is it?
Well, I mean, look, I obviously I can't answer for the entire white race. It would be
you are answering for the entire white fucking race right now.
You goddamn whitey.
God damn it! They asked me questions about. Listen, welcome to the club, motherfucker. And I mean this, Kevin. Welcome to the club, bro. You have been around me. When they go, so Latinos this or Latinos that, or do you know what I'm saying? It's where they ask me how all Latinos feel about certain shit.
Oh yeah.
Right. So welcome to the club, bitch. Now you have to answer for all fucking white.
Well. So what's weird about my position is that I grew up the son of a cop, so I've always had a different perspective. I mean, look, I've gotten into arguments with other white people about police brutality in the past, and it's my argument, and I know it's like taboo to say, but like when black people are like, not all black people are bad, this is police brutality, I understand that. And I grew up reciprocating that, going, well, not all cops are bad either, because my father was a cop. You know what I mean? So like, I totally understand that sentiment. I think people have had enough. I think that the fact that it was taped online, uninterrupted. We saw that man get murdered by that cop's knee. And look, do you know what I really think went into it, dude? If I'm being completely honest, I think Trump went a lot into this. I think Trump has made this country so divisive and fired up for change that this united everyone behind something that was like, okay, this is obviously a problem, and now it's time to do something about it. And like I think the riots were almost Trump inspired more, because I think the protests were Black Lives Matter, but I think the riots were a political statement.
I think Trump was a reaction to a black president, and I think that this is, a reaction to the racism that bubbled up, or at least the ballsiness of racists to kind of come out and just be like, whatever.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is, like, people have been speaking up more than ever the last 4 years and using their voice. And I think, I don't know why this time was different, but all I can say is I think this time is different because, one, it was on camera. It was broad daylight. There's no argument about it. It's been an epidemic of police brutality. And I think that people are finally like, look, we need reform. We need sensitivity training. There needs to be less force used. There needs to be different procedures and tactics used. I think that we should look. I think a cop is trained to put his knee on the middle of your back to restrain you, to lessen the danger of him. But I think that needs to be completely abolished. I think that there needs to be new procedure in,
of course,
you know what I mean? So like, I think everything just came to a head.
Yeah.
And dude, honestly, look, if you want to say all of the past injustices, including political, but obviously dominantly and rightfully so, police brutality. I think people all just at one moment turned and were like, what the fuck are we doing? It's time to make a change together. And as far as I can see, that's what's happened. I don't know. I mean, you know, again, I'm not a great person to answer this question because
no, you are because I do shows for cops all the time.
Right.
I said this on stage. I go, dude, you can say whatever you want, but when somebody's raping your fucking daughter and you know she calls you and says, Dad, you go call 911 or I'm gonna call 911. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
If somebody comes into my house with a gun and I'm up in my room and I see that this fucker has a gun and broke into my house, I'm calling 911 and those cops are gonna show up. Even though there's a dude in my house with a fucking gun.
Right.
Here's what I said though. Policing does have to change. And my case in point was a 75-year-old man who got pushed in Buffalo, New York. Right?
Man, that was awful, bro.
The fact that they pushed him, okay, that happens. You get two dicks, fine. I can't blame the whole department for that shit. I get it. Here was my issue. The 67 police officers that showed up to the arraignment of those two guys that basically said they didn't do anything wrong. That right there is what's wrong with policing. Right. When you push a 75-year-old fucking man and you fuck him up and then the next day you don't realize, hey man, that was fucking bullshit. I shouldn't have done that. But you think, well, what was he doing in my way? Dude, walk around the old fucking man for Christ's sakes. It's
right. You know what I also think though? You know what I also think? And just to tag on that, I know a vitriol issue in policing is the police union, and bad cops make it difficult. And I'm not making an excuse and I'm not saying it's okay, but I know growing up, bad cops have made it difficult for good cops to speak against them because then there's a threat that they're not going to have your back and you're going into a situation by yourself. So it's been it's been this bullying system back and forth. And now the difference is the good cops are going, you're right. We need this. We're with you. We don't want to do this anymore. This isn't what we stand for. So it's like a uniting on all fronts that just never happened.
Well,
yeah, you know what it is? They need to train him more, Ned, because these cops are scared. They walk up there with a gun and
yes.
Dude, I seen that. My family, all law enforcement, dude. I got cousins, uncles. They're all cops. They used to go up to a group of people with their hands like just not on their gun. Like, hey, what's going on? And take control of the situation.
De-escalate. It's de-escalation.
Yeah. Well, sometimes shit wasn't even popping off yet. It was like, look, get here before it pops off. And they had the right words and they said it. You know what I mean? Like they was respect. Like, listen, fucker, this is what's gonna happen with authority. And they controlled the situation. Everything was cool. These younger cops, bro, there's cops that are 25, 26 years old. They're little kids. They're afraid to go up to a big black dude without putting their hand on their gun. I'm like, why did you put your hand on your gun? Oh, for my protection. Like, he's just standing there talking.
Right.
I get involved, Kevin. Like, listen, if I would have been there and saw a cop do that to a dude, I don't care if he's black or a white guy, I would have got arrested. I would have said, look, bro, I'm about to jump in this shit. You're about to kill this man. And people that said, well, I don't think you would do that. There's people that said, Juan's already done that. Yesterday, me and my wife were going to HEB to pick up a rotisserie, man. I wanted a rotisserie chicken. We went, we saw a white guy running through the bushes. You know what I mean? Because there's a long driveway, running through the bushes. My wife goes, oh my God. And there was a cop behind him chasing him with a taser.
Jesus.
He couldn't make it. An older white man, he got on his radio. So this dude was hauling ass. I told my wife, let's go see what happened. I used to work security. So I started following him. This dude did not pay attention to me and my wife. We were following him while he was running, and we were just kind of going around. And he ran all the way across the street and went into a Lowe's. I saw a constable patrolling, looking for him. I said, he's inside the Lowe's. He's inside the Lowe's. So I'm on the cop side, bro. But yet, the only way this is going to change is for the good cops, like you said, to call out the bad cops. And some of them got higher ranking than other officers. They're afraid to speak because that's real. My cousins are cops. And sometimes they had to just see shit happen that they didn't agree with, but they couldn't say nothing. Now what happened
Juan, they're so mad that they're making you disappear.
Yeah, you know, someone at Fox News had a lever and he started to pull it down.
He's like, no, you don't understand. You don't never lose white people. And then when
Hey, no, I was put up with now. But no, listen, they got mad, and that's why it's going to change now. They don't. There's too many white people married to black ladies and Mexican ladies and vice versa, whatever. It's not. It's not like that no more. It's not.
Everyone's fed up. Everyone's fed up.
It's
Everyone's ready to speak up and change things. And you know, look, it would sound.
You know what, Kev? It's like $2. It's like, what are you doing? We've been asking with the Panthers. We've been asking for years for this and that. Now the people that are asking, they're all dead or in jail. And
Right.
that's why Tupac said that. Like, if that's why my songs are built with rage, because if I see people in this hotel throwing food every day, throwing food away, and we're outside, we are hungry, please let us in, and then after a week, the song is going to change. It's like, we hungry, please let us in. After 3 weeks, if we own it. He goes, after a while, it's like picking the lock, coming through the door, blasting. He goes, everybody that asks is dead or in jail. And then Tupac says, what do you think we're going to do? Ask? Like, that's it, bro.
Right.
It's all now. It's all. Dead. I've been pulled over at least 500 times doing comedy, driving to LA and back all over the country. I've gotten one ticket out of 500 stops. And my manager's black, so we used to ride. It'd be a Mexican and a black dude leaving Houston, going up north on 45. That's the dope route. That's everything that comes from Mexico goes up north. So I told them, we're going to get stopped. They're going to search us. They're going to separate us. They're going to question us. And he looked at me because he's black, but like Randy. Never been to no hood, college educated, really smart. He was a war planner for the Iraq War. This dude, but he started hanging out with me, and he saw a whole different side. Like, he didn't think we were going to get pulled over for nothing. We got pulled over for nothing, bro. A lot of times. They just wanted to check. We were cool with them. They were cool with us. All right, man, y'all know. No drama, no nothing. I wasn't sitting in my car going, I know my rights. I know my laws. I hate them fuckers, bro. I love
yeah,
them.
but that's because
Drag them fuckers out.
yeah, but that's because like you're okay with that. You turn off that little part of you, right? When you get pulled over, when and I know because I do the same thing. I turn off that little part of me that's gonna get pissed off because it's the fucking 5th time that I got pulled over on that same fucking freeway doing, you know what I mean? Or in that same fucking neighborhood. I mean, dude, 2 weeks ago, I was on my way to Bert's house, and Bert lives like literally there's one street, the projects, and on the other side, a pretty decent neighborhood. It's literally a street called Floral. And on the corner of Floral and Mednick is 7-Eleven. So I went and he asked me for some ice. So anyway, I went, got the ice, put it in the car, and then I forgot I wanted a 5-hour energy. So I went in, and when I came out, there's a cop by my car. I'm driving my wife's Mercedes at the time. And the cop's just staring at me, walk to the car, and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me. And then I pull up to the car, and I go, what's up, officer? And he goes, is that your car? And I go, yeah. He goes, what are you doing here? And I looked at him and I said, let me be real with you, bro. I'm not telling you that I don't do drugs. I'm not telling you that I don't buy drugs. But what I am telling you is that car cost $100 and some $1,000. There's no fucking way that I'm here to buy some shitty stepped on drugs in the fucking projects. So if you ever want to catch me either buying or with drugs, go to Encino. That's where I live. And I go, and I promise you, I used to sell drugs right there when I was a kid. There's way more cocaine where I live now than in this shithole. That's where you should be arresting people. And then, of course, one of them goes, dude, that's fucking Carlos. And the other guy's like, oh, you did our Christmas party. And then it was like, fuck you guys. You know what I mean?
I drove that. I forgot to tell you, I drove that Mercedes when I was at the Ontario Improv with you. I think it was like 2008. I like lived in it. I lived in his house for like 2 weeks, and I drove that Mercedes around. And I forgot to tell you, I planted actually cocaine in there.
Yeah, there's cocaine in there. Just so the one time they're gonna get me.
Hey, I told that car too. I stayed at his house for about a year, and I was he had to teach me how to push the button, how to all that shit. I told him like twice, Kevin. The Pollo Loco right down the hill, and that's it.
Oh
and he
yeah.
left the keys and everything. That makes the money. He goes, go to whatever. Like, nah. I stayed at his house because they went out of town. They had to go do something. I stayed there for about 10 days by myself. He goes, dude, you didn't go fucking nowhere. Like, the Pollo Loco 3 times. I had everything I needed right there. I had everything. I was coping. I was scared, dude. Because when you from the hood and that's the thing. Like when people buy expensive clothes and then they're afraid to fuck them up, then don't buy that shit.
Right.
Like that's why I would never buy a car that much because you're afraid. I was so nervous in this car. I didn't want nobody to hit me, a bird to fucking run into the grill. I didn't want none of that shit. I didn't want to get robbed or nothing because I'm in his car. So after that, I just took the motorcycle down there. But you know what? The motorcycle was worth more than the fucking car, bro. Like,
oh God.
Nobody paid. Yeah, but yeah.
All right, guys. Let's do this again next week, man. Sorry, I've been like not, but I've been all fucking. My head's just been everywhere, bro. It's been very, very. These times are very hard for me because most of my comedy doesn't come from the actual written word of it as much as the emotional content in it, and it's just been so hard to track what the fuck people are thinking and feeling right now, and it's been a little rough.
Right.
Plus, I've had like three friends' parents die already. 3. I know, dude. Fucking 3, bro. And my aunt ended up in the hospital
It's in our
too.
family, bro, right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing, dude. For it to be a hoax, I told my cousin, if you think it's a hoax, that means the whole world is going to be in on it. The whole world. If this is a hoax,
dude.
that means everybody's got to say, okay, we'll do it. We'll shut down the country, everything.
But dude, look, hoaxes are really easy to fucking but you know what it was like? It was like the 75-year-old man when they said no, he was using his phone to jam the frequency, and I'm like, first of all, I'll give you $1,000 if you show me one 75-year-old person that knows how to operate a fucking phone in the first place.
Yeah, my dad can't stop calling me from his pocket, let alone jam a fucking radar.
You're fucking telling me that he turned his phone into a jamming machine? These are the same people that come to your house and go, where are the pictures? Where's this pictures, for fucking Christ's sakes? Like, it's such a fucking stupid. But here's the thing. Listen, a lot of people might have to give something up, you know, whether it's reparations for money or whatever it is for African Americans. You know what? We're going to have to sacrifice. And the way I look at it is, you know what? If we're going to sacrifice by making payments to Black people or giving them extra or doing work, that's much better than they were to say, you know what? We're just going to take one child from every family and make them slaves for 10 years, just 10 years, just to make up, and let Black people have those slaves to do with whatever the fuck they want. Everybody's going to say that's too much, that's too far. Well, they did that for 300 years for us. So, you know what? If you're going to fucking give them a little extra, I think it's not, and you know what? It's not even like they're asking for extra. They're just saying, hey,
equality, that's it.
That statue up there kind of raped my great-grandmother, so I really appreciate it. If I didn't have to walk by the rapist, like, it's just little shit. It's just little shit, dude. It's not that big of a fucking deal anymore, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
That's fucking, dude. That is so fucking funny. Like, it's not funny, but the way the joke about it, it's so poignant and so on spot on. But the fucking dude, that line, that statue raped my grandmother is.
I saw a meme on Facebook that said, if somebody stole your son and sold them, where can we put a statue up? Where would you like us to put up a statue? So
but look, whatever. I mean, that's my point. And if that's the least that's going to happen, and by the way, are they going to go too far and take down? an Abraham Lincoln. Well, they did. They fucking took down the one Abraham Lincoln. And at first I was pissed. Like, guys, come on, Abraham Lincoln. He's the one that freed the slaves. But then I saw the actual statue, and I understand why they did it.
Well, you know, in
did you see it, Kevin? Did you see the statue?
No, I didn't see that one.
So it's a statue, all right? I'm not kidding, of a black guy on his knees, right? Kind of bent over like this. And Lincoln is standing on top of him, kind of with his hand on his head. So it looked very fucking white supremacy, bro.
Right,
right. You know, the black guy's on his knees, the white guy's standing, he's got his hand over. It looked, and at first I was like, really? And then I saw it and I went, okay, I get it. Not that I would take it down, but like I said again, that's not me, man. That's black people. And if at the end of the day, we don't give black people a mule and 40 acres or reparations, and all that happened was policing changed so we don't beat the shit out of people for no reason, specifically blacks, and some statues went down. I don't give a fuck who the statues are.
right.
I think we got out pretty easy as a fucking country. That's just, I'm just fucking saying, man. That's totally. You know what I mean?
Did you see there's a statue in Kentucky that they removed, and there was a bottle of bourbon and the year, a newspaper from 1932 when the statue was. Oh, yeah. And the second I saw that, you know me and my whiskey, I was like, yo, let's take down all of the statues. All of them. Let's see what's inside.
Was it? Wait, does it keep? The liquor?
I'm sure. I'm sure it was a bottle of bourbon from 1932.
So it's still good.
I'm positive it's still good.
Holy shit, dude! That's
dude.
Awesome.
I was like, I might go tear down a statue in my neighborhood just to see what kind of shit I find in it.
Oh, that's fucking funny. All right, guys. Let's say bye. I think we might have even frozen. We will. Let's do this again next week, guys.
Sweet.
Love you guys.
Right, man. Y'all be safe, man.
Hey, Cisco. One last question, Cisco.